Where in the world you're always going to have the presenters from Revelation TV. Well, welcome back to our mornings at Revelation TV studios. It's been a fabulous morning so far, hasn't it? You can tell it's half term here in the studios. Children everywhere and the energy is brilliant. So I just want to say a particularly well done to Bethany and Rosalind. You wouldn't have guessed that was their first time, would you, presenting this morning? So well done to them. And we'll actually be seeing a little bit more of them later, so stay tuned if you want to see a bit more of them. Well, the obedience of my guest this morning has been an absolute blessing, actually, to girls around Bethany and Rosalind's age. She was one of the people responsible for stopping the editor of Special magazine, which is a new magazine that's been published for young girls. She was responsible for stopping this editor from procrastinating and getting it out on the market. And here she is with me in the studio this morning, Yemi Hastrup. Welcome, and her son, Io.
Hello.
Welcome to the studios. It's great for you to join us this morning. Thank you for coming in.
I'm happy to be here.
Now, Yemi, it's been quite a year for you. It's been very eventful, and God's been doing all sorts of work through you this year. Mm-hmm. But tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and kind of what led up to this point of the mandate that you were given at the beginning of the year.
Okay, great. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, which meant I knew quite a bit about the Bible, and but I never celebrated Christmases or birthdays. Definitely not Halloween. And I knew my Bible, and I loved my God, but then in my teenage years, I sort of forgot all about that, really. And about 10 years ago, God called me back to him, really, because he says he is the one who actually calls us. Before then, quite a few people had preached to me, bashed me with the Bible, and it's like, oh, this and that, and I didn't want to know. Mm. But when God was ready for me, he called me, and I gave my life about 10 years ago, which was wonderful. And well, lots of ups and downs, you know, in those years. But last year was extremely terrible for me, because for the first time in my life, I was really, really ill. And it was only God who saw me through it. Early part of last year was terrible. I was constantly ill, going to the hospital, but I kept praying. And it was like a testing period in my life. November last year, I met a lady pastor who was on her way back from Nigeria going to the States. And she prayed with me. She came into my office. It was just perchance that she came. And we prayed, and she prophesied. I didn't realize then. She just said, you know, God was going to do things for me. Because I said to her, oh, you know, this year has been such a terrible year for me, and things, you know, I'd never been this ill before, but I know that, you know, God is always faithful, and he's seen me through so far. But she said to me, it was as if she said, God is working on you, and things are about to happen to you. In December, I was having a conversation with a friend who I hadn't spoken to for a very long time, and we just got talking, and I said, look, you know, we keep planning to do things. There's so many things that, you know, wanted to do, and you want to do things. I said, you know, next year, let's just go ahead and do it. Everything that we've planned to do, make a list of everything, and, you know, trusting in God, let's go and do it. I put the phone down, and for some strange reason, just do it kept popping in my head, and I just could not rest.
And was that at the end of last year?
That was happening? 29th of December last year.
Right, okay, so this is where things, you've had quite a rough year leading up to this point. Mm-hmm. So tell us then what happened then at the beginning of this year? Beginning of this year, because of this just do it thing that kept popping in my head, and I just kept, no more procrastination, just do it, just do it. Beginning of this year, I was really restless. I felt, you know, that I needed to pass it on to as many people as possible. So, you know, in obedience to God, not procrastinating, I went ahead, printed leaflets. I called up a lot of my friends, and I said, you know, God has ministered to me to just, you know, pass this on to as many people as possible. You know, if God has laid something upon your spirit to do, just go ahead and do it. Do not waste time, because, you know, these are end times. You know, things that God have laid upon your spirit, and say, oh, I'll do it next year, or I'll do it. Just go ahead and make plans, do it. So I printed out leaflets, and I built a website. I'd never built a website before. I just went on and registered a website, and, you know, put my story on it, and encouraged people to go on it. And quite a few people had written in to encourage me, and, you know, apparently an awful lot of people suffer from procrastination. You know, they never get around to doing things, and they do things halfway. And I believe that the reason I'm actually out here in this studio today is to pass it on, because this is the media, to pass it on to more people than I could ever dream. Yeah. So this is me saying, if God has ministered anything to you,
please just go ahead and do it. Just do it. This is end times that we have all been blessed with things to do in this world. That's why we're here. God has given us different talents and we need to do it. Just do what God has given to you, because it's in the Bible. If we don't do what God asks us to do, other people will do it. He can actually call up on stones to do things. So me doing this, if I had sort of ignored the calling of God, somebody else would have done this. I'm sure there are other people talking about procrastination at this point in time as well, but I believe that God wants me to do it, and I thank God for giving me the opportunity to do it. And already, like you said, you know, someone who read one of my leaflets is the editor of Special, and the day she read the leaflet, she said, that's it. I've been thinking about this for such a long time. Let's just go ahead and do it. And I mean,
can I just pick you up there, Yemi?
Yes.
Because I know there's a lot of young people watching this morning because we've had you all phoning in, which is brilliant. But can you just explain this word procrastination? I mean, it's a long word and we use it quite a bit. What does it actually mean?
Well, it means you want to do something, you're thinking about it, and you're not doing it. It's like, oh, I'll do it. I'll get round to it. Oh, maybe I'll do it in the next 2 minutes, next hour, tomorrow, the day after. And most of the time, you never get round to doing it. And I mean, it ties in with obedience as well, actually, because if you're meant to do something and you don't do it, then you're being disobedient to God. And if I had not gone ahead and done this, then I would have been disobedient. And I've learned so much since, you know, starting this, what shall I call it?
Yeah, tell me, you're obviously a procrastinator yourself in the past, right?
Yes.
I'm kind of getting that message. So tell me then, what have you found has happened to you this year? And I'm actually going to ask your son in a minute as well, whether you've noticed anything about your mum as well. So I'm going to come to you in a minute, okay? So you just be thinking about that question, all right?
Okay, wonderful. One thing that I have done, because as you can tell from my name, I'm African, I'm Nigerian, Yoruba to be precise. And one thing that I wanted to do was to pass on the culture and the language to children of Yoruba origin in the diaspora. There are lots of young children like my son who have been born and brought up here and they don't speak the language. And I've been thinking about it for a long time. In fact, I used to teach my son and a few of his friends the language at home. And one thing I've done now is actually put together a book. I'd been thinking about it for about 3-4 years. So
Excellent.
that's been published.
Yeah.
That's one, you know. I've recorded a video, and I've decided, you know, to start a publishing business with my son. Initially, I was going to call it Hassie and Son, but now it's been swapped around to AJ and Mom because he draws, and I've always liked to write stories. I wrote him lots and lots of stories when he was younger, and he decided to illustrate them for me. So this is it.
Brilliant. And you've actually created some material as well, haven't you, Yemi?
Oh, yes.
Let's just show some of the material that you've actually produced. And we've also got your information, haven't we? We've got your details that if people are wanting to know where, you know, more about this, because we wish we'd had the whole show to go on about this, but we don't. And we want to have a closer look at these magazines. But if you want to know more information about this and how this came about and really what God has to say about procrastination, you've got this material. Show us some of the things that you've put together.
This is a little bookmark that I have made. It says on it, no more procrastination. Time is a precious gift from God. Don't waste it. Just do it. And there's a little passage from Ezekiel here, a little bit of it that says, the time has come for every prophecy to be fulfilled. And
we've also got a little sticky thing here. Tell us about this.
That also was, all this I printed the first week of this being ministered to me. And in my office where I work, every single office has that sticker stuck on it at the moment. It's like,
leaflet.
Oh, the leaflet. Okay, that's the leaflet. I'll pass it on to you. Yes, that was the leaflet I printed. I printed lots and lots of that, took it to church, sent it out to friends. And I must say another thing I did then was I sent out emails to churches, and I only got back a response from one church, the Ruach. And I must, you know, that was very encouraging for me because they, you know, encouraged me. And because I wanted everybody to know this, and so I thought, okay, what should I do? Send emails to churches and tell the congregation, let them know these are end times, don't procrastinate, go ahead and do what God sends you to do. So, I mean, it's just wonderful being out here spreading this.
I wonder how many of our viewers have actually come across this material, because you've obviously sent it sort of wide and far, but Ayo, tell me, you can see your mum's really passionate about this, and I've heard her speak about this before. Tell me, what have you noticed about your mum in this? Would you say she was a procrastinator before this year?
Well, I would say my mum's been doing quite well in her work. She's been getting along really well with her work, and she's been making these Yoruba books, so some children that are from Nigeria that live here can improve with their home language, because I think it's quite a great thing, really.
It's fabulous, that, isn't it? What about you, Ayo? Do you find that you're procrastinating less now?
Yeah, I think it's a great privilege to work with my mum. I like helping her with her books, and I like illustrating, and she likes to write books.
Now, I've got to pick up on this, because you have a particular gift of illustrating, don't you? And I've got to say, it's brilliant. He's done this little book, and I'm just going to run through it, because this is a book for young people that just tells them a little bit about what procrastination is. And there's two little boys. He's just illustrated it here. So if you just have a quick look at the illustration, and I'll tell you a little bit about this. When did you write this, Ayo?
I did it yesterday.
You did it yesterday just for the sake of the show, so we could tell you a little bit about what procrastination was. Okay, and this man's saying, here's a bookmark I got for you. He goes, oh, thanks. Procrastination, what does that mean? And this guy says to him, well, remember why you were in detention last week? And he's illustrated this whole book, and he says, yeah, I didn't hand in my homework. And then it flashes back to last week, and there he is sitting there, this little boy sitting there on his sofa saying, I'll have to do my homeworks after I've played my video game. I bet a few of you recognise that. Then later he's lying on this bed thinking, oh, mum's trying to bug him and say, get your homework done. He's saying, not yet, mum, I'll do it after I've spoken on the phone to John. Then later he's in bed, he says, oh, I'll wake up early tomorrow to do it. How many of you do that with your homework? And then he's off to school, and the next thing he knows, the teacher's asking for his work in, and he's saying, I haven't done it. And the book ends by saying, well, that is what procrastination is. So that's fabulous, isn't it? Ayo, brilliant. You've done a really good job. You clearly have a gift of illustration. This is something you've just roughly pulled together. You actually did the illustration on this bookmark here. I don't know whether you can see our little cat here. Why did you draw the cat? What's that got to do with Just Do It? Tell me what you were thinking when you did that.
Well, I just wanted to make a character, a really good character. Yeah.
They went with it, and you like cats, don't you? No, that's brilliant. I really like it. He's kind of going, ooh, yeah, really need to get on with that. That's brilliant. So, what's the future hold with this then, Yemi?
Oh, well, no limit, that's what I say. Ayo's favorite passage in the Bible is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that is actually the main thing, with this. Some people say sky is the limit. There is no limit. We can all do everything that God wants us to do through his strength. And I know I keep having lots and lots of ideas, and things keep coming to me. I'm jotting them down, and I'm going through them one by one, and I'm doing them now. And all glory be to God. It's been a busy year.
It's not easy though, is it, trying to fit everything in?
Oh, well, because I work and I do this at home, and yes, but it's been fantastic.
Fabulous.
It's been fantastic.
So Yemi, we're going to have young girls coming back on again, and we're going to have a closer look at magazines in general now, including the special magazine, to see what we think of it, and to share with our viewers what we think of it. But if you've got one word of encouragement or anything to say to anyone around this whole theme of procrastination, what would you say?
I would like to say to you, if you've been procrastinating in the past, don't beat yourself about it. It's never too late to start. The important thing is, understanding the fact that God wants, the best out of every single one of us. And from this point onward, just jot down things you need to do. Don't think I'll do it tomorrow. Start right now. And another thing that's been laid upon my spirit to eventually write a book. And what I would like, if you're watching today, is if this program has ministered to you about procrastination, and it's actually gotten you to do something very significant, sometime in the future when this has been done, could you please send me an email? Have a look on my website. Send an email to tell your story, because I'm believing God that there'll be lots of stories for me to put together in this book. That's what the book is going to be all about. People who had in the past procrastinated and have now gotten over it and moved on to do wonderful things, all to the glory of God.
Brilliant. Yemi, I thank you so much. It's been wonderful to hear about that. I'm going to keep you on though because I want you to stay on and have a look through these magazines with the young girls when they come back on. But in the meantime, last night the Sharp family were guests on World in Focus, and they're here this morning again to share with you what it is that they're doing. But they're a family pulling together productions, and what we're going to have is a little snippet of some of their treats that they've pulled together. So here is one of the children's programs from the Sharp family.